All right, everybody. Welcome to This Week Unloaded. Tonight we have with us Mr. David Bowling. How are you tonight, David?
Doing fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
And next to him we have Chicken Man himself, Gizzard Gary. How are you, Gary?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. Sarge, you there? Or... Nope, Sarge might be on the... Sarge, I believe, is working right now, folks. So if he's not always responding...
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
I was doing something for a second. What's going on?
Yep, that's what I thought. That's why I was explaining to everybody why you might not be as active. But yeah, that's cool. Yep. How are you tonight, Sarge?
I'm good. I'm hanging out at a little extra thing tonight, so I thought I'd jump in for a little bit.
Cool. So before we get into our topic, anybody got anything they want to discuss tonight?
Anybody got any tips on a good 410 shotgun?
A good 410 shotgun.
And it'll be a range. Just to go ahead, it'll be a range toy because I'm not going to hunt with it. So
bump or single shot or
yeah.
I don't know. I just know that I want to get a 410, and that's the absolute limit of my knowledge of the 410.
Yeah, I mean the Mossberg 500 is not a bad 410, and if you want something that's really going to be a range toy that you can just play around with, they also have the 410 and the Shockwave too.
Oh yeah.
Or you can get those single shot 410s usually for under $100.
See, that sounds pretty good. I could get that, and then
depending on what your budget is, Henry, they also got a 410 recreation of the old lever gun Winchesters.
Well, see, the problem with that is if I buy, a nice Henry, it looks really cool. I won't want to shoot it. The 410 is something I'm going to take to the range pretty much like every weekend at this blast.
You'll shoot the Henry.
What's that?
You'll shoot the Henry.
Oh yeah. You don't buy a Henry and then don't shoot it.
Yeah. They're meant to be shot.
All guns are meant to be shot.
Well,
if it's going to be in my safe, it's going to get shot.
There's some guns I don't know if I'd want to shoot if I had them. Simply because age and whatnot. If it's a super collector piece, I'm not taking it out to the range and shooting it on weekends. Maybe every once in a while. And then some of those collector's guns have fun finding the ammo for them too.
Well, no, that's true. But I don't own anything like that because I'm not rich.
Yeah, who was it? Squibb a few weeks ago on one of the shows was talking about how he went and got a Martini Henry, not thinking about the fact that he won't be able to find the ammo for it.
I think he said he has 2 rifles that he has to make ammo for if he wants to shoot them. I think he's got 2. And that's just a strange concept to me.
Yeah, there's some ammo you just can't find it anymore.
Do the 410s come where they can fire slugs? Because I can't fire birdshot or buckshot or anything like that.
Yeah, you can get 410 slugs.
Yes, you can. They're not cheap, but you can get them.
Even Walmart's kind of pricey for the slugs.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you should be able to find slugs.
Yeah, any slug is going to cost you more than what a bird or buckshot. Doesn't matter what caliber of shotgun it is.
It's going to be pretty close to $1 a shot, I think.
Yeah, well, we buy the 12 gauge rounds now, and the 2 3/4 12 gauge for the 870. So
seems like the last time I bought slugs, it was $4.50 for a box of 5 of them for a 410.
They're going to cost about the same no matter what gauge.
That's true.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? What gauge? The 410 comes in multiple gauges as well.
No, shotguns.
Okay.
Whether you're buying 12, 20, 16, 410, You're going to pay about the same for slugs no matter what shotgun you have.
410 is the size of the round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I was just
Yeah,
confused.
for 410 for some reason, instead of staying with your standard shotgun gauge, they went with caliber instead.
But as normally, like birdshot and stuff, 410 is going to run significantly more than everything else, but it pretty much evens out when you go to slugs. And the 410 does make a pretty good slug gun.
What gauge would 410 be if it was?
I read it once.
Somebody in a video, I think Paul Harrell broke it down in his 410 video. I don't remember what he said it was.
67 gauge.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because a gauge is how many lead balls of the diameter of the bore it would take to make a pound, I believe is how.
Now, Black Cat's saying our price thing isn't exactly true because price 10 gauge slugs. That's why I didn't say 10 gauge. That's why I said 12, 20, 16, 410. You notice I did not say 10 gauge.
Standard shotgun ammo.
So what is 10 gauge, like a specialty round or something like that?
Well, 10 gauge shotguns are rarer than the other shotguns. 10 gauge, there is actually used to be an 8 gauge shotgun too at one time.
There's an 8 gauge, I thought as well.
Yeah, you don't see them much anymore.
Yeah, you don't see 8 very often. I don't know if anybody actually makes a new 8 gauge, but you can still find new 10 gauges, but they're extremely rare.
And no one wants to shoot them.
Yeah, they're not fun.
They pack a pretty decent wallop.
Mm-hmm. They were popular in the West because they were using black powder, and black powder doesn't build up as much pressure as what smokeless powder does. So back then, you get a 10 gauge or an 8 gauge, they might have what a 12 gauge, a modern 12 gauge has in recoil. But now, the recoil is so much more because of using the smokeless powder with them. Nobody else has anything to add to that. It just got real quiet all of a sudden.
I know Black Cat says you could shoot 45 long cold out of a lot of them.
Yeah, some of them anyway. Like the Rossi Circuit Judge, which is basically the full shotgun size version of the Taurus Judge. You can shoot obviously 410 and 45 out of those. I'm not a fan of revolving long guns myself. Yeah.
Somebody was talking about a revolving long gun yesterday. I think it might have been in Mr. Knives' Saturday lobby. I can't remember what the name of the gun was, but I looked it up. It looked like a big old West revolver with a buttstock.
Yeah, that's what they look like. If you've never seen the Rossi Circuit Judge, that's basically what it is. It looks like a large, scaled up version of the Taurus Judge with more of the rounded rifle type pistol grip on it.
Yeah, with a stock and a longer barrel.
Yep. And they're both made by the same company. So. Rossi
Black Cat says 10 gauge 3.5 slug equals 1 3/4 projectile at 1,300 feet per second. Now that's
an inch and 3/4, or ounce and 3/4.
Ounce and 3/4, I believe.
That's what he said.
That's humming.
Yeah.
That would be so rough on your shoulder.
Yes, it would.
Firing slugs can be a little rough on your shoulder anyway, so you better get that thing up against you.
Well, we accidentally bought 3-inch shells from Walmart one time before we went to the range, and I got a little side saddle thing where you put the slugs in. And those
Yeah.
were 2 3/4. So when I got to the shooting bench, those were the ones I loaded. And then when we grabbed the next box, it was the 3-inch shells. I'm thinking, a 1/4 inch. What's the big difference? And you definitely notice big time. And I'm not. I've never shot the 3.5-inch shell. I can only imagine that's a
3.5-inch shell out of a 12 gauge. You have an 870. You might not even take 3.5-inch shells, depending on which 870 you have.
Yeah, I don't think this one does. It's the Express, and
They'll usually say,
my boss got shotguns for Christmas for him and his son, and they got the 3.5-inch shells. That's where I first heard about them.
Yeah, 3.5-inch shells. That's typically turkey loads that come in that size. Yeah, RL saying double up buck in the 10 gauge is 18 pellets at 1,100 feet per second.
yeah, I got a whole box of those.
In 10 gauge?
No, 12.
Let's say I didn't think you had a 10 gauge.
I don't. 12's bad enough. That's my shit hit the fan gun. If I'm getting it out, I'm expecting company.
What 12 gauge you have?
I got a couple of them. I got my dad's old Winchester 1200. And then I've got the one I got when I was in high school, I believe. It was a Sears M200, which also was made by Winchester. That one, about 2 years ago, I cut the barrel down to 18.5 on it, so it's a scatter gun now. I didn't touch Dad's old gun, but I figured it was mine. If I wanted to cut it down, I don't think Dad would mind. So, as long as I didn't touch his. He's not around to care, but you know what I mean.
He'd come and haunt you just on principle.
Yeah.
RL says a 10 gauge is like mag dumping a G17 every time you pull the trigger. Yeah, I don't know. The pellet's going to be double out buck's a little bit smaller than a 9mm.
Not much.
Not much, but it is. It's a little bit smaller. I'm trying to remember what caliber those pellets are.
Let's internet that bad boy and find out.
I think it's 30. I'm trying to remember. I could be off by a little bit. I think it's around.
Let's see, 33 caliber.
So it'll be more like a 32 ACP mag dump. So bullet size anyway. Yeah.
Big enough.
Yeah.
Considering it's coming out at a damn high velocity.
It'll be like mag dumping the original CZ Scorpion every time you pull the trigger. And apparently Vanessa just realized there are people here.
There are people here. At least I see people. And I hear people.
Speaking of that, like with Snob's stream last night, I didn't get any of the notifications at all. Like not the 30-minute wait time, not the show was live, not the show was on replay. And there was a couple other people that I was watching that I wasn't getting notifications from.
Yeah, something was a little screwy last night, right around that time.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think YouTube was having problems because I was watching Roll Call's video today, and I noticed that the bell was not rung anymore. And when I went to go ring the bell, it kept saying error 44, error 404.
Yeah, YouTube was having issues last night.
I've had that happen with a lot of people. I pulled up Clover Tech today and the bell was off. And it's like, I know good and well. Most of the people I watch on a regular basis, I have that bell on.
Everybody tell RL good night. He's going to bed.
Night, RL.
Night, RL. Night,
Good night,
Kitty.
brother.
Yeah, like Knob, he tried launching his channel twice because the first time nobody showed up at all. Nobody got notifications. The only time the notification we got was when YouTube actually uploaded.
Well, I was in the Hangout, and there were like 4 or 5 of us in there, and we were talking, but we didn't see any chat going on.
Yeah, I was there last night.
But there were people who said they could hear it and see it, but we didn't see them.
Yeah, and the counter was stuck on one person watching, no matter how many of us were out there.
Yeah, I think YouTube was having issues.
Yep. Well, when he relaunched it, it opened up another chat altogether too.
It opened up 2 Hangouts at once, like a minute apart from each other. I noticed that too. It's crazy.
Yeah, YouTube was all kinds of messed up last night.
I'm glad I didn't have that trouble.
Yeah, it didn't. It had to have happened sometime after Modern Anti-Federalist went off because he didn't have any issue either. Yeah, I got the notifications for his show and everything.
Maybe he messed it up.
Yeah, Adam broke it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you could have broke it.
I don't know about everybody else, but I schedule my show several days in advance. In fact, next week's show is already out there.
I do that sometimes. Sometimes I wait till the last minute. I don't really notice much difference in attendance.
I'm not quite like G-Web, where he'll throw 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah, I wait till the last minute to see if I'm going to have a topic, if I see something that looks interesting, or if we're just going to do like somebody just brings something up kind of thing.
You can always update it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll usually wait till like an hour before.
Like Friday night show, I didn't know what the topics were going to be till literally 45 minutes before the show started. I tried some searching in the news. I finally found something quasi-interesting, so I threw some notes together real quick.
Yeah, I try to get it to where people will get the half-hour notification.
But I told them ahead of time, I said, be ready to come up with a topic of your own if I can't come up with any. But usually I'll come up with 2 or 3 things to discuss. It helps that first hour to go by a little bit if we got something to chew on a little bit. And then usually after about the first hour or so, then it opens up to whatever everybody wants to talk about. And I don't know why. I just think that format works well for me. It might not work well for everybody else.
Yeah, usually the chats just take a mind of their own. I mean, you may have a general guideline or a concept, but usually they just kind of go off in different directions.
Well, Friday night on my show, I wanted to run it about 2 hours, and it was starting to grind to a halt after about an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden Squib and Slim Cowboy started talking about reloading, and it's like, oh, it's just going to run on autopilot now. I'll just sit back.
4 hours later.
It wasn't as bad as A&A and Foos, though. That's when they took over Snob Show with it, it wasn't that bad.
Well, A&A wanted. He said he wanted in. Then when I sent him a link, he said, "Well, he was too tired. He wasn't going to do it." So I did send him one.
Didn't say he wanted in. He just wanted the link.
That's true. Well, he did kind of give me grief the first week because I didn't send him one, but I'd sent out notices to like 16 people. I didn't know who all was going to show up. Not that I'm griping. I realize on a Friday night, a lot of people got things they want to do. That's fine.
Yeah.
If I can get 4 or 5 people in there with me, just so I'm not sitting there by myself, because it gets pretty boring me talking to myself.
Yeah. And here come the infinite windows. Just going to warn you now. Whee!
Ooh, deed. The tunnel effect.
Yeah. It's time to get to our topic, folks.
Does anybody know how to pronounce that?
Hawaii? Something. It's something Chinese. Anyway, Chinese employee, Polish former intel officer arrested in Poland for espionage. Now, you guys may remember this company name from a few weeks ago, actually about a month ago, I believe now. Because if you think back, the Trump administration had requested Canada arrest another employee of this company because they had violated the sanctions against Iran. And while that controversy is still going on, we get this out of Poland.
Huh.
Polish security services have charged a Chinese manager at tech giant, I'm not trying to pronounce it, in Poland and Polish former intelligence officer with espionage against the country on behalf of China. The 2 men were arrested on Tuesday, according to Polish state television, TVP. Polish security agents searched both the offices of Huawei.
According to the company, it's pronounced Huawei.
Huawei? Okay.
Huawei.
And Orange, seizing documents and electronic data. The homes of the men were also searched. The arrests are the largest setback for the Chinese technology company, which is embroiled in a dispute with the U.S. over a ban on their devices, as well as diplomatic row with Canada over the arrest of their chief financial officer. And by the way, the United States is not the only country that has banned their devices. England and Australia have both banned their devices as well for the very reason that these people were arrested in Poland. So they've been accused of spying by other countries as well. The Chinese man was identified as Wei Jing W and reportedly worked as a director in Poland at, however Gary said that is.
Huawei.
Okay, for now on, whenever we get to that, you just say it. The man who went by the Polish name Stanislaw also worked at the Chinese consulate in the past. The Polish man was identified as Peter D. and said to have been a former high-ranking intelligence officer until 2011 at the Internal Security Agency, Poland's domestic counterintelligence agency. He worked at Orange, a company that worked with
Huawei
to roll out next-generation 5G mobile networks in Poland, the BBC reported. The 2 have not pleaded guilty and are refusing to provide testimony in the case, the state broadcaster said. This Polish guy, deputy head of, I'm guessing it's a guy, I don't know. Deputy head of Poland's special service said the 2 arrested men carried out espionage activities against Poland, and the operation to arrest them was underway for a long time. If convicted, the men could face up to 10 years in prison. And it also should be noted that the company in question has said that they have fired this executive, but that could just be them covering their own bases and trying to cover their own butts in the process. Any thoughts on this?
Did they define what espionage, what they'd done?
No, it doesn't say exact. I don't think it said exactly what they had done. That I saw. And it says it's buried all the way down here at the bottom, so I didn't go through the whole article.
Who, who was it that is charging this person?
Poland.
Poland is charging. What's the
Yeah.
does it say what the penalty for espionage and spying is in Poland?
Yeah, the article says that they face up to 10 years in prison.
Oh, okay. I was like, I couldn't hear what you were saying at the end there. Okay, now I got you.
Yeah, it doesn't actually say what they had done, but in some way they were doing something that where they were spying.
So is that going to be the next person to have to testify before Bob Mueller?
Yeah, the article also says that the person that I was talking about that was arrested in Canada is Meng Huangzhu, the chief financial officer of the company, and she is also the daughter of the co-founder. And she was the one that was arrested for violating the sanctions on Iran. But yeah, as far as what they were doing, it doesn't say what they were doing, but that probably because it's still under investigation and they don't want to release too many details, which is understandable because you don't always get that here in this country either. Now, and I know that the British and the Australians banned their. I don't know exactly what led to the ban here in the United States, but I know what I read an article about both the British and Australian bans. They claim that they were putting some kind of chip in their products where they could record everything that was being said on one of their phones and track like their smartwatch activity and stuff. And then they could report that back to the Chinese government. That's what the British and Australians were saying. So I don't know if that's the same situation here because Polish aren't releasing that.
I can't imagine it would be all that hard. I mean, the conspiracy theories that all the televisions and computers and iPhones that we have are all bugged up now anyway.
Yeah, and they do all kinds of stuff. They do routers, modems, all that stuff. So they could spy on just about anything. Hey, Pickle.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for the invite.
Yep, no problem. Have you seen what we were talking about? Or?
No, I just barely got home from work and popped my phone open and saw I had a link.
All right, hold on. I'll screen share so you can see it. All right. This is what we were talking about here. And if you, I don't know if you remember back what was it, beginning of December in Canada, they had arrested somebody on request from the Trump administration from that same company for violating the Iran embargo.
I didn't know what company it was from, but I did hear about that.
Yep, same company. And the British and Australians have banned this company from doing business in their countries because they were worried about espionage from them.
All right.
And apparently, they are banned from. I didn't know this one until I read this article when we were going through it. They're banned from doing business in the United States as well for whatever. Don't know the reason, but it says that they are banned in the United States as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they need to embed the stuff in their products anyway. All they got to do is hack into it. I'm sure that they know how to do.
Yeah, I mean, they could just put lines of code. It might not even be a chip. It could be lines of code and stuff that are buried in there that could do this. There's all kinds of different ways that they can do it. And I got a feeling that's what it is, that they were doing something with the product in some way to where it was reporting back to China what was being said, what were saying on their phones or their smartwatch, because a lot of smartwatches will have actually have microphones in them. I believe my watch does.
to be completely honest with you guys, not trying to be tinfoil hat, but I think any electronic that you have can potentially be, hacked, and report back what it's being used for good or bad.
Oh yeah, I mean Edward Snowden proved that. Not that everybody didn't already know that, but
Yeah. This company is intentionally being charged. The people that are in the article are being charged with intentionally engaging in espionage for China, and they each face up to 10 years. One of them's a former Polish intelligence officer, and one of them's the manager of a retail outlet over there. It just says they're a manager, so I'm guessing it's a manager of a retail outlet.
Well, it's kind of like all the people talking about, like these Amazon Echo Dots and the Google Home devices and stuff. The smart devices people put in their house that they listen to you. Well, your phone's been doing that for several years now. So
Yeah.
if you have a smartphone.
Yeah, and the Chinese guy that was arrested, he was also a former employee at the Chinese consulate. Trying to bring you up to speed here, Cal, because you weren't here. But yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and the two were working on the next generation 5G mobile network in Poland.
That's where the CIA's been trying to bug anybody and everybody for years. Now we're doing it for them. So.
By the way, the picture of the woman you see on the screen now, she's the one that's arrested in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what other Chinese companies might be trying to spy on different places too for the government. Because even though China's capitalist, China's quasi-capitalist because the government's like a large say.
I mean, it's just like how people always say like Sweden and Denmark are socialist. Not really. They're capitalist countries. Socialized medicine. China's just communist, but they have manufacturing that I don't know. I don't see how
China's had manufacturing for a long time. Most of it's been state control, and a lot of it still is.
Sure, yeah.
But you also got foreign companies now that are working in China. They actually have plants over there, like GM has a plant over there, an actual factory that they own and whatnot. So China's trying to go with a somewhat capitalist, or at least on face make it look like they're trying to go with a capitalist economy. But being that they have a communist country, there's still a whole lot of government control over what's going on with their industry.
Well, I mean, yeah, they can't. I mean, obviously, you can't walk on both sides of the fence. So eventually, the communism part of them is going to destroy their capitalism part.
Yes,
they went full blast with the social media credits already. So
yeah, it's like Nazi Germany. Yeah, you can own your business still, but you better do what we tell you when we tell you to do it. And whether people want to realize or not, that is a form of socialism. But no, go ahead.
The way I would explain it, that may not be the best way to explain it, but a socialist country will let you own your business, but just tell you what to do and take most of your money. A communist business company will just own your business and take most of your money, if not all your money. So socialism is just on your way to communism.
Yeah, you hear all the time from the left, Nazi Germany wasn't socialist because you were allowed to own your business. Yeah, you were allowed to own your business, but you had to make whatever the hell they told you to make.
Yeah, I always like asking them, what does the word Nazi mean?
Yeah.
And it's right there in the title.
Yes, it's National Socialist.
But to be fair about it, when World War II was in its heyday, companies in the United States pretty much made what the government told them to make, too.
Yeah, that's a different situation. The Nazis were doing that before they ever went to war.
I don't know if there was much told as they just volunteered. They wanted to help the war effort.
Well, I'm sure some of them wanted to, but I'm sure they also would, would have liked to have had a say in what they manufactured, but they were told what they're going to manufacture. Question I also have is, like, with the companies under Nazi Germany, how much of of the war materials they produced did what were they paid for them compared to what it cost them? Because that's where a lot of the companies here in the U.S. made money on the war. Don't
Yeah,
it's hard to say how much, but that can be a slight difference as well.
Well, wars always drive an economy.
yeah. The companies here, it was all by contract. Like, say, I'm trying to think, Inland, who did the M1 carbine, right? They didn't have the production facilities to make what the Army and Marines needed. So what they did was they contracted out to companies like GM, GE, IBM, and whatnot. They subcontract. Everybody was getting paid. Nazi Germany, they were just, okay, you can own your company, but you got to make these tanks whether you want to or not. Over here, you had a choice whether you wanted to get in on that or not.
Well, now your automakers pretty much had to do something because auto production was ceased for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, it
Right,
was.
and that's where Willys Overland, was the original creator of the Jeep. They didn't have the production capabilities, so the contract was yanked from them and given to Ford and GM in order to produce the quantities that was needed. Even though Willys is the one that actually should have technically, I think, have had the design rights to it.
Yeah, but I mean, are you saying like it was taken away from them, or what do you mean?
From what I understand of it, the contract, when they couldn't fulfill the contract to produce them, was given to the other companies, and Overland was given a contract to produce some trailers and some other
No, they
smaller.
made the Jeeps as well. Both Ford and Willis made the Jeeps.
Oh,
Those
that's right. I
original.
believe it was Ford and Chevy actually built the majority of the Jeeps that were used, and that was part of
I've
where
never
some
heard
of
of the
the.
Chevy. I've heard
Sorry,
of the Ford. I've heard of the Ford. I never heard of the Chevrolet.
I believe
Yeah.
Ford, Chevy helped produce some of them just because we needed so many so quickly.
Exactly.
Well, that
So
was the
they
same
did what
thing
they
with
did to stop the Nazi war machine.
yeah, it was the same thing with aircraft. Like, you would have GM was making aircraft parts in some of their factories, and who else was? I think
Lionel
Remington was.
Trains.
Yeah, I mean,
Lionel Trains. What did they make?
yeah, yeah. The
Lionel
Remington,
Trains made a lot of stuff.
yeah, Remington
So
typewriters.
was
I know
Ford
they were
GE
making
made.
engine parts for the B-17.
Right.
It all
I'm not
depends on what your
trying to.
factory had.
Right. I'm not trying to say that the it was done the same way to Willys as it was in some of the Nazi Germany plants. What I mean is that we did things based on contract, but there was a few instances where when a company couldn't keep up with the production,
Well, yeah,
part of
that
their contract was pulled and given to somebody else
yeah,
without the
that's
company
No,
because
I don't
necessarily
think it
saying.
was
they
pulled
couldn't
as
live
much
up to
as
their end of the
they got
contract.
additional units from the other company.
Yeah,
That and the War Department pretty much held where the raw material was coming in because it was being rationed. So all the steel that would have been used for making automobiles, for example, was diverted towards Jeep and tank production and stuff like that. So in a lot of respect, the government could control who got raw materials to build stuff with.
Yeah, it had to.
Oh, 100% agree on that, guys.
yeah. Here's an interesting little fact. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but during World War II, you could not go into a store and buy a Zippo lighter because everyone that was being made was being bought by the military.
Doesn't surprise me. That's where the troops used a whole bunch of them. That's where a lot of the GIs fell in love with them when they're overseas.
Yeah, the military was buying them and putting them in their survival kits.
Well, military bought a lot of cigarettes too. They were putting them right in the rations.
Hey guys, I've been waiting to chime in. It's
Jump
funny,
in.
funny that you know, you guys start talking about this. I was just talking to my 84-year-old mother, and of course, she grew up during World War II, and you know, we were talking about no cars being made, how the ration of the metals and everything. But you got to remember, you know, in that time period, people thought a lot different. You know, and you're talking about government contracts and all that. Man, I think Sarge mentioned it. It was all for the war effort. It was America pulling together to win the war. So, you know, and the difference is Nazi Germany, they used a lot of slave labor from the concentration camps. They did, you know, we got paid to do stuff here, and it, like you guys were saying, it was government contract, and you know, look at all the, you know, I have an M1 carbine made by Quality Hardware. It's not super rare, but it's one of the rarer ones. They didn't make that many, but Quality Hardware that made hardware. Here, you guys are making M1 carbines now, you know, Rockola jukebox company, you know. So
IBM.
Anybody that had machining capabilities, was approached to build something that we needed. It's just a matter of how many units could you move? Okay, well you can only produce 1,000 a week. Well, we need 5, so here's a little bit, and then we're going somewhere else for for the rest.
If you ever get to go to like Wanamaker sometime, if you ever get to go to the J.M. Davis Museum there in Claremore, they've got an awful lot of like World War II era and World War I for that matter, but posters like would be out in public and stuff. And you would have stuff talking about, rationing and stuff like that. They would talk about how, if you save this much butter, this allows, this to be produced, blah, blah, blah. And just a patriotic effort to conserve so everything could be diverted towards war production and stuff like that. So it is a big propaganda thing on top of everything else in order to get the public to buy in naturally. But
well, that's where my grandmother, was a young child, during World War II. Her father was actually in the military. They were Canadian, but that's where point being that they had, stamps and rationing and that kind of stuff as well, just done a little differently than the U.S., but same kind of idea.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to the Smithsonian, I don't know if they still have it or not, because last time I was there was when my youngest was in 6th grade. But they had a whole section that was nothing but World War II stuff. And they had like old ration books. They had some of those posters like you were talking about, Gary, and some other stuff that was really cool. Display section too. And right outside of that section is actually where they had the Ric Flair memorabilia too, which was rather interesting. You see Ric Flair's rolling boots, and then he walked through the door, and you're in World War II section.
That's a change up. Yeah, I have an aunt and uncle that live in Sterling, Virginia. It's not far from D.
Yeah, but, farthest east I've ever been is Denver, so I need to make a trip out to Claremore.
Yeah,
probably
lost.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said the last time I was to the Smithsonian, I was probably 14. And I'm 52.
You could always come visit Maryland, where the gun laws are friendly, Calaveras. I
need to do some traveling.
That was just a cheap shot at California. I've got to punch somebody,
It's like
Sorry.
California, Maryland, New York, Connecticut. You're all punching at each other trying to see who come up with the worst gun laws. In there too, right? But Vermont's playing catch up.
No offense, of course, Calaveras.
Yeah, no worries. When we're in the restrictive states, we don't, you can only punch at a few others, and make yourself feel any better. Everyone else just laughs at you and says, "Oh yeah, look at this," and they pull out something from their collection.
I will say this, that we got to stand your ground. basically the governor said he wouldn't sign it, and they vetoed his veto and overrid it and made it law.
Yeah. You're breaking up real bad, A&A.
Stupid computers.
Aren't they, though?
So anybody else got anything they want to bring up on this part? Somehow we
share. Well, can I?
Somehow we went from Chinese spying to World War II manufacturing. But yeah,
well, it's spying, war effort. It's all kind of related.
It's loosely connected, right? We helped the Chinese in World War II. Now the Chinese are spying on everybody.
There, can you see that? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's some of the posters they had there. Now, a lot of these I think are World War. Well, yeah, those are World War I era posters.
Hey, eat more cottage cheese, you'll need less meat. Interesting.
1 pound cottage cheese supplies more protein than 1 pound of lamb, 1 pound of pork, 1 pound of beef. Huh.
Yeah, you want an interesting fact about that too? The guy that came up with all those posters like that, or the vast majority of them, also is the guy that came up with using bacon as a breakfast food, and taught Goebbels, the German propaganda minister, propaganda.
Yeah, we were pretty good. Between World War I and World War II, the Americans were pretty good at the propaganda. I remember seeing, not that I was there, but I've seen like the buck-toothed Japanese guy with the squinty eyes, and those types of posters and stuff like that.
Hold on, between the wars, our government's still a master of propaganda. That's part of why they want to censor the hell out of people like us.
Yeah, the Nazis learned their propaganda game from us. I mean, there's no doubt that's where it was taught from. They were taught literally were taught by the guy that came up with this stuff. And he was a reporter for one of the New York newspapers. I forget which one. It wasn't the New York Times. It was one of the other ones that's not around anymore.
Can you go back one? Can you go back one, Gary? You see, when you're looking at the one with Uncle Sam in the middle, it's on the far right on my screen. You went past it. That's the screen right there. See, on the far right, the Uncle Sam with the two soldiers.
Yeah.
Like, look how powerful. And you also got to think back in the day when this was going on, how powerful of a message that is. Our boys make good their pledge. Are you keeping yours? That's just basically saying, you don't support the troops. You don't support the troops.
Mm-hmm.
War savings stamps, which pretty much turned into the war bonds. I thought those were just incredibly interesting to look at when I was there, and they just got a ton of them. So yeah,
Snob's out there saying that you something, Gary, but he has a link, so he can come in here and ask himself.
That's fine.
All right, that's stuff.
Yeah, he's a funny feller.
And if you're inviting Snob in here, you're really looking for the quality of this chat to nosedive. I mean, it was bad enough when I came in, but
I don't know. Snob's been lighting it up on Instagram. His last couple of posts that I've seen were hilarious.
Well, I tried to jump over and use my phone because the other night when I was in the chat, the phone worked beautiful. But every time I go to the Hangouts on my phone, it just automatically kicks me off. I don't know what the hell's going on. Hit it with a hammer.
Blame the weather.
Yeah,
it's the robots.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you get snow down there, Rich?
Yes, we did.
How much did you get? You figure?
I don't know. I haven't been outside.
Well, I live about 3 hours away from Rich, give or take, and I got roughly 5.5 inches.
Ooh, you got more than we did. We only got about 3, and it warmed up enough to where when I tried to use my snowblower, I was trying to blow slush.
Now, actually, to be fair, my boss lives probably about an hour and a half from Rich, and he got an additional 6 inches than we got down here. So Rich
Yeah.
could have very well got a lot more snow than us.
We got more than 3 inches. I know that much.
Yeah, we got close to 6, and it stayed cold enough all weekend. It really hasn't melted to speak of.
Yeah, it's been in the 20s here.
Yeah, I don't have any snow to shovel.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
I'll take snow. I'll take snow over the stupid gun laws.
I thought you were going to say you would take snow over the forest fires.
I was talking to Knives earlier and telling him my war stories about being out plowing snow for all day and night. And he was like, "Yeah, no, it doesn't snow here."
See, with my arm, I got a built-in excuse not to be out there shoveling snow.
Yeah, Knives lives in Southern California, doesn't he?
Yeah, not far from Los Angeles.
Sorry?
Not far from Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's Southern California. That's right. I'm in Sacramento, so Valley Bottom, but farther north. If it ever snowed here, I think everyone in the city would freak out and lose their minds even more than they already do.
Is that humanly possible?
You severely underestimate, how quickly these people lose the brain cells that they have left.
They don't have any brain cells left.
They go into the negatives pretty quick.
Yeah, it almost wouldn't be a bad idea to break California up into 3 different states.
Depending on how it's done, that's where the last the Cal 3 plan that they had proposed at one point that seemed like it might have gotten traction would have severely tanked not just California but the entire nation, because they were trying to turn it into 3 blue states, which would have helped sway the Senate. If it broke up in the way that I don't know if you guys have heard of it, the state of Jefferson idea, then it would have had a red state and a blue state. So it would have at least somewhat balanced itself out.
Here's what I was thinking, right? Do like a C. Go Sacramento to San Francisco, then south to Los Angeles, and you cut out that section in between there, you know what I'm talking about? Keep the coast keep the coast along Sacramento, San Francisco, LA. You have that section. I don't know if you can visualize what I'm saying or not. And then, you can go maybe cut down and have like right up, from LA down, right underneath LA down to the Mexican border, and then right above San Francisco up to the Oregon border. Probably do it that way, and you wouldn't end up with 3 blue states.
Well, that's how the state of Jefferson idea. It was
right.
All the counties north of Sacramento, plus the rural counties along the Sierras, down to roughly even with the Stockton area, which is about which is about 2 more counties south, because those counties are all red as it gets. Most of them they're logging, ranching, mining communities, so they're very, very blue collar. And that would have been a very red state, and then the rest of the state could have gone blue, and it wouldn't have been that much of a problem.
Do you know what the original proposal for the state of Jefferson actually was way back when? Because this has actually been proposed multiple times.
Yeah.
It was Southern Oregon and extreme Northern California forming one state.
Yeah,
Right.
They were going to call it Jefferson. I've heard that before.
If I remember correctly, I think Jefferson actually dates back even farther than that. What modern day Utah, I think, was actually whittled out of a section that was the people at the time wanted to call Jefferson.
I think there might have even been a third one.
West Virginia was around called Jefferson.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was around the D.C. area. Okay. As long as the Californians don't get to pick how California gets cut up, then I'm cool with how it gets cut up. But no Californian whatsoever can have any input. Sorry, California.
Yeah, well, that's true. If I had my way, that's true. The San Francisco Bay Area could be its own little niche. The state capital could be its own little thing, and Southern California could be its own little thing. The rest of the state could, stay together because the rest of it would be, probably be as conservative as Texas, if not more so.
Couldn't you just push everybody into Oakland and just be done with it?
Nobody wants to go to Oakland.
Don't want to be
You
in
guys
Oakland.
are going to end up screwing up our flags, and then everybody who's got a flag hanging on their walls is going to have to buy new flags because they're going to get more stars on it.
Well, no, not if you just push everybody into Oakland and then just make Oakland Oakland.
Just
and
take
let California be California.
okay.
You're
We'll
looking
just,
at this the wrong way, Gary. By forcing people to buy more flags, it helps stimulate the economy.
or we could just do this, to make Gary happy with that, the damaging the flag. We'll just take the San Francisco to LA corridor and kick them the fuck out of the country altogether.
We've had this flag for 61 years looking like this. Probably the longest it's ever been the same.
Yeah, it probably is.
I do like the flag the way it looks, so
Yeah,
maybe
it's a nice round, even number, right?
Besides, you're talking about helping the economy. No, they just ship it off to China and have them make the new American flag, right?
how many people do you think would have fit on the Titanic if you packed them shoulder to shoulder?
I don't know.
The whole state of California. That's your idea.
Might have been too much weight and it would have sunk in the port.
All right, well, we'll take about 15 off, though, because we wanted to at least get the deep ocean, international waters before it sinks.
Maybe they could hit an iceberg at the Marianas Trench.
If not, we can always launch a torpedo at it just to make sure.
We'll put a man-made iceberg out there.
Yeah, I know, we're all joking about this, but to be honest, that's where this state drives me nuts. If I didn't have, family and everything else that held me here, I would love to get out of this state. But, even if, nothing else, just lower dang cost of living.
Calvaris, I just put in the chat on the YouTube side, I hate winter. Why am I still here? Family and friends. That's the only reason.
Yep. Well, I'm on my phone, so I can't see the YouTube chat, but.
Well, you get the same thing in Maryland. Maryland's got some beautiful weather when it's beautiful, and it's got some crappy weather when it's crappy. But the scenery from the coast all the way to the mountains is beautiful everywhere.
Maryland's a beautiful state. It's just full of Marylanders.
Exactly. And it's, D.C., so all the rich politicians and lobbyists and all that stuff moved to Maryland and caused the prices to go up on everything.
Rich, that was a line right out of Braveheart when the king says the problem with Scotland's is full of Scots, right?
Well, that's something that's been that's been around for a real long time.
I know.
You insert any place. The problem with France is a beautiful country. The problem is it's full of French.
Midnight said something in the chat about a month or two ago that I've been repeating because I thought it was funny. And he was like, "Don't Maryland your state." We were talking about some type of gun laws or something like that. I think it was when Maryland's red flag law came through and the guy got killed. And he had said, "Don't Maryland your state." So that's what I type into the text whenever we're talking about this stuff any more time. It's just, don't let it happen to you. Don't Maryland your state. It's depressing. It's hard.
Well, y'all need to live in a state like I do where everybody thinks it's so horrible nobody wants to come live here. That way we've got all the room in the world and all you people stay away and we've got our gun freedom and everything else.
I lived in Kansas once when I was very young, moved out there and lived with the in-laws for a short period of time, but I lived in Overland Park and I'm not a big city guy, I can tell you that.
Overland Park is huge now. It's just full of people.
Oh yeah, well, it's all one big conglomerate KC now. I mean, it's just.
Overland Park is technically the biggest city in the state now, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'll be darned. Huh.
Our suburbs are just jam-packed with houses on top of houses on top of houses.
Yeah, it just keeps expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens.
All the people want to live in a city. I don't.
I live in a small town. We're less than 20,000, and I'm happy.
If I want to go to the city, I get in a car and drive to the city, and then I come back home.
The older I get, the more I want to live in my town or home.
Yeah, the town I grew up in was less than 2,000 people. To me, that's what I prefer. The fact I'm here in Sacramento now is no bueno.
Yeah, I'm not much on the city either.
I've been to Sacramento. It wasn't that bad.
I don't know. To me, man, I see big cities and I just see sheep in a pen, man. That's I can't live like that. You know, I mean, Overland Park, where I lived, it was suburbia basically, but I mean, big inner city type thing, man. I just nope. I can't. I hate having to work in Cleveland, big city. You know, I just no. I hate it. And when you drive a dump truck and have to deal with people, yeah.
You people
Cleveland.
familiar with Kansas geography. Kansas City basically sits right on a state line between Kansas and Missouri. And Overland Park is basically Johnson County, Kansas, which is where most of the more well-off people in Kansas City live.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of tax benefits or what, but they all seem to locate over on the Kansas side.
Yeah, Cleveland. The city's so dirty, the river catches fire.
I thought that was Toledo. Was that Toledo or Cleveland? I can't remember. Yeah.
The Cuyahoga River has caught fire in Cleveland multiple times.
Yeah, well, it's not that dirty anymore.
Oh boy, snobs in the house.
He's not that dirty anymore either.
Armament.
Hey, stop.
Yeah, I just took a shower.
Were you saying something, Sarge?
Did you get a new mic? Because you sound different tonight. Sounds good.
I think he's talking to you, hey.
Me? I'm still using the earbuds. So
sounds good.
Well, that's a good thing. Gizzard, you were talking about Overland Park. You know, when I lived there, like I said, where we lived, it was small houses, blah, blah, blah. But I worked for a carpet cleaning company. Like I said, this was like 87. And I got all over KC, which, I mean, Missouri and Kansas. And I tell you, some of the houses I got into, oh my, I mean, mansions, you know, and it just.
Well, they're just building them. They're just building dozens of them by the day now. The rich people just never seem to quit coming.
Well, you know, and it reminds me of that commercial. The guy's riding his lawnmower, and he says, "I got this, and I got this," and he's got these big eyes and a smile, and he runs over the flowers, and he says, "I got this, and I'm in debt up to my eyeballs," and that.
I remember that.
It really makes me wonder about some of these huge places. And I'm like, where's all this money coming from? And then I think, well, a lot of people are just making a lot of payments, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where Gizzard, you say they're building them, you know, really fast out there. That's where we have the opposite problem here. That's where we don't have, you know, enough going up for the amount of demand that we have, and the fact that we've had multiple thousands get destroyed over the last couple of years here has not helped at all.
It's strange to me, as intellectually advanced as the human brain is, as to why we tend to live in really stupid areas. Like the California thing, the fires aren't brand new. The earthquakes aren't brand new. You know, Louisiana's went underwater. You know, it's just weird how we tend to build civilization in extremely dangerous places.
To be honest, with earthquake things, that's where there are earthquakes happening along the fault lines every day, but most of them are so small, only the scientific equipment can pick them up. We only have a big one that's big enough to actually do anything once a decade or less. So, I mean, it's not in the same area twice. As for the fires, a lot of that is the fact that we have sections of forest we haven't managed and we haven't allowed to burn in over 100 years. So when it does, so we've created that problem ourselves.
Yeah, I agree with that, but
It's kind of about how they're trying to flip the bill to PG&E.
Well, a lot of those wildfires are started by lightning, and like you said, these unmanaged places, there's a lot of deadfall, there's a lot of dry stuff, and that's tinder, man. All it takes is one lightning strike, and it's gone. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well, not only is there windfall and whatnot, but that's where the drought that we had that was several years long really messed with a lot of trees, and then we have a lot of beetle problems up in the Sierra Nevada. I think at one point at the peak of the drought, they were estimating about 1 in every 15 trees was either dead or diseased.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that's because they don't let you, like you were saying, they don't let you manage it because they're afraid, oh, it might kill this thing that we think is endangered, but if you go somewhere else, there's a ton of them in a different area. But because they might be endangered in this one little itty bitty area.
if you cut down this dead tree, then it's not going to let that bug that's killing all the live trees have a place to live.
Well, it's just like people going against loggers and things like that. And people are stupid. They don't understand that logging companies are not going to go in and clear cut. And no, they replant so they can log the next year and the next year and the next year. It's like
the better companies do. I have been into areas where you're hiking through a beautiful old growth forest and all of a sudden you come out into the middle of a giant clear cut that's nothing left but stumps. And if they aren't told to, they're, depending on if it's what kind of land it is, they may or may not replant it. If they're going to replant it, I have less of an issue.
Guess what you get when you cut down all those trees? Pasture land, which is much more valuable than forest.
Right, but that's where the area where I was at, the terrain was about a 45-degree angle, and it was going down. Like I said, if they're going to replant, I have no issue with them doing clear cutting, but that's where I've seen too much where they haven't replanted, and it just demolishes an area.
Yep, you know what you get when you clear cut like that and you don't replant it? Malibu mudslides.
I was just going to say land erosion. Yep. Rich, you were saying, oh, they're afraid to go in and do this because this species or that species. Well, hindsight's 2020. Do that happen? Wildfires? Are we learning?
Probably not.
Oh, no, because now they've got global warming to blame it on, or climate change. I'm sorry.
It's climate change because that way they can just, hey, look, it's getting colder because of climate change. Oh, look, it's getting colder because of climate change. Anything can happen because of climate change.
Well, I can tell you this. I believe in climate change, but I don't believe man has anything to do with it. Volcano, millions of years, and they put out so much climate killing crap. They're still, you see where I'm coming from. I don't think, no, look back in history. Look back in history. Little ice age, things like that. It just happens. We're hurling around in space, dude. I mean,
right. That's where on that one, I'm willing to say that humans have an effect. The question is is it a 1%, 2%, 0.5%? That's where I'm sure what we do has had an effect on things. The question is just how much.
Yeah, the ones that get me are the ones. It's awfully arrogant to think that humans have nothing to do with climate change. And I turn around and I look at them and I'm like, no, it's awfully arrogant to assume that everything that happens on this planet is because of humans.
Exactly. And think of this. Think of look back in history and how the climate changed over the years before the Industrial Revolution. Stuff happened.
Yeah, things are a lot cleaner. So, I mean, if you look, at one point, you couldn't go out. If you had asthma in London, you could not go out your door without covering your face because you would have an asthma attack. Because the air quality was so bad in London from all their factories and everything.
Yeah, they're burning straight coal.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, still over there starts facing the repercussions from that over there too.
The planet is what? What do they think? 6 billion years or 16 billion years old.
You know, who is that in the background there, Rich?
That is my oldest daughter.
Why is it?
Regarding certain species of butterflies and whatnot, but I still see that the changes in the species go back to the pollution that was put up by the factories in London.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Why do
she
we have
needs to
Rich in
jump
here?
on.
Why don't we put her in Rich's spot and Rich can just go stand out in the hall or something and let her run this show?
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Uh-huh.
We have a
It sounds like she's got something to say.
Yeah, she always does.
We've got room in the hangout. Get her in here.
She's probably smarter than Rich. He doesn't want to be outsmarted.
She always turns me down, so we have more rooms in this place. We have more rooms. You could go somewhere else.
How old's your daughter?
She's 23.
Okay, so she's old enough to read what users writing in the chat because it's kind of sketchy over there.
Yeah. Legally, Seven Wonders could actually hit on this one.
That's too old for him, man.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. She's too old.
He's like old maid territory to him.
Said she's 22. 23. Yeah.
People in the chat are wanting you to get on too.
I didn't even distracted by you. I'm actually trying to read.
He's trying to do homework.
Hey, if she's going to chime in from the back, you might as well jump in.
Yeah. We're distracting you. You just came home from work and we're distracting you.
I wanted to come home and finish the work I had for this.
Well, then be quiet.
If you can figure out how to make a female be quiet, please share with the rest of us.
Give it up, dude.
It's called tranquilizer.
NyQuil?
A dirty sock and duct tape's my trick.
Oh no, make sure it's Gorilla Tape, the really good stuff, right?
All you need is.
Yeah, and that way if she has a mustache, it takes care of that too.
All you need is.
Oh, ouch!
Snob, your wife is going to hurt you one of these days, and the rest of us are just going to play dumb.
She's in the
Yeah,
Gun
she's
Gals
up
hangout. I'm
there,
safe. No, she said she had to leave and go to Gun Gals hangout, so I'm safe.
Okay, yeah.
There is replay.
Yeah, there is replay.
Well, she goes over there. Gunpowder Beauty's going to tell her and teach her how to throat punch you for being that way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where your office is a separate building from your house, correct?
Yeah, it's about 100 yards away, 75.
I was going to say, you might want to install a bed out there and maybe a shower, so that way you have somewhere to go.
A kitchenette, just
I got a mini fridge, so I'm close. I'm already on Gunpowder's bad list anyways, because today they were on a hangout talking, her and Stacy and Arminthia, and her little boy was in there and talking and stuff, and I was like, hey, her name. He's like, what? And I was like, so what'd you want from Walmart the other day? And he started talking. He's like, oh, a monster truck. So she's ready to kill me because I brought that up again.
were you there the other day? And this is funny. This day in her chat, and she kept saying poop in one hand and holds up. And I made a comment about if the kid actually poops in his hand. But anyway, I told her, I was in the side chat. I says, I got to go dig out my snowblower and, my lawnmower, get the snowblower out, put the lawnmower away because, limited space. Anyway, I did that Friday, and guess what? It snowed like son of a yesterday. And hindsight 2020, I don't know. I said that to somebody today, and they're like, so it's your fault it snowed. I went, wait a minute.
You got your snowblower out. All your fault.
Just in time.
Like the guys that wash their cars, and then it starts raining. You son of a bitch! You just had to go and wash your car, didn't you?
I had a motorcycle. I swear to God, I would be just, you try and shine everything and the cooling fins and make it look beautiful, and I'd swear I'd be like almost done, and it'd just start pouring down rain every single time. Ugh.
Well, you can't blame me for the rain then, because my car gets washed about once every 4 years.
Your car gets washed.
Your governor won't let you.
You wash it any more than that, it'll rust.
I wash mine all the time, but it doesn't do no good.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Well, you live 17 miles down a dirt road, so it won't help.
It's only 4 miles of a dirt road.
We had to give you a ration when I was down there to get you to wash it. And well, I don't know why I'm washing it because it's just going to get dirty again. Is that what you do with your towels and your sheets too? I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, but my underwear too. But you know, I got a lecture from Clover and Armentia because they about rear-ended me because I couldn't see my brake lights. My tail lights were so dirty.
I really don't know if I washed my Toyota in 2018.
Wow.
I don't think I did.
Well, I can tell you, the Chevy I did, 2018 I didn't, 2017 I didn't. Girlfriend might have washed it in 16.
Well, I know my old 1995 Ford Explorer, the beater. I don't even bother. I'm afraid if I wash it, it'll knock rust off that's holding it together. So, you know.
Well, the dirt covers the rust on a Ford.
Didn't you just get a new Jeep, Kyle?
Yeah, just yesterday, actually. That was, like I said, the car I never washed, I traded it in, so they'll have to wash it.
So how you liking the Jeep?
I'm loving it. It's, well, I went from a 2007 Chevy, manual windows, manual door locks, absolutely stripped out basic, to this one here actually has power accessories and cruise control and this kind of stuff. It was a huge upgrade.
Bring it out, you can drive it through my pond.
Honestly, I'm getting to the point where I don't want power everything because it's just one more thing to go. It's just one more thing to go wrong.
I want power everything.
Whatever.
What kind of Jeep did you get, Cal?
2019 Wrangler 2-door.
Nice.
He's got pictures of it on Instagram. David. You want to check it out?
I don't know. I try and live by the AK-47 philosophy. The less moving parts, the less likely it is to screw up, kind of thing. I don't know.
That's what it's also why there's a lot of accessories that I did not get because that's for that reason. That I just figured having a power window might be kind of nice. That way, when it's during the weather's halfway decent, I can roll down the passenger window, going down the road without having to lean over.
True.
Yeah. I have to crawl across the truck to lock it and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of past that point in my life finally.
Yeah.
And
I haven't had a vehicle with manual windows.
Another vehicle without air conditioning ever.
Well, I'm sorry. Air conditioning is just, you got to have that.
My first
drove cars without it and never again.
My first car was a 71 Volkswagen Beetle, so I totally understand what it's like to not have AC.
So this is kind of like a modified Jeep Liberty, right?
You barely had heat in the Beetle.
Sorry?
Yeah,
it's kind of like a modified Jeep Liberty, right? It's
not
exactly like a standard Wrangler.
No, it's a standard 2-door Wrangler. Oh crap! Hold on. Yeah, that's right. It's the traditional 2-door Wrangler instead of the 4-door.
Right. I guess the picture. I mean, it's a nice looking Jeep. It just looks different. Like I guess from the angle that you're taking it from.
Yeah, it was probably from the angle. I didn't have, I was in my dad's driveway. I didn't have a whole lot of options for the angle.
How many miles did it have on it?
I think 170 now. It had 3 miles out when I got it.
Nice. That's awesome.
More power to you. I bought one new vehicle in my life other than my jet ski and said I'll never buy another one.
Well, this will probably be my one, so.
I've not had one yet, so.
Yeah, Cal, you'll understand in a few years why I said I'll never buy another one, but
Stealth hunters want to see a picture of the Jeep.
I understand completely, Snob. I bought a new car one time, and no, I'll never do it again.
I bought a new truck, and 6 years later, when I made the last payment on it, was the happiest day of my life.
I can't show you a picture, Stealth. It's not my Jeep. I don't have a picture of it.
I'm on my phone. Sorry, I can't screen share.
Is it on Instagram?
Yeah, it's on Instagram.
I'll go find it.
It's funny you guys talking new vehicles and whatnot. And my brother, my channel partner, his vehicle, he's
You're breaking up again.
out and got left, just ran up. Stupid machines. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said my brother channel partner, his car, he's got a couple payments left. The warranty just ran out and things are starting to mess up. So.
Oh yeah. Hey Rich, can you lock onto Snob there for a second?
Yeah.
That's a good looking Jeep.
Yeah.
Look better once you throw mud all over it or something. Get some bigger tires and drive it through a pond.
Oh, trust me, that'll happen eventually.
Look good if you
Right
lock
now,
on
I'm
it.
just worried about making payments, so I'm not going to be throwing too many aftermarket parts at it just yet.
Do your Spartan run with that thing.
Do the Spartan run with the vehicle? I don't think they'll let me.
Oh, come on.
That's a good looking Jeep, though.
Thank you.
Is that a hard top or a soft top?
Hard top, because I work in downtown Sacramento, I wanted to be able to lock it, and soft tops aren't secure.
Yeah, you won't regret not having a soft top if that's your only vehicle and you got to drive it every day. Soft tops suck.
Is that black or is that like that navy dark blue or what color is
It's a dark metallic gray.
Oh. We need a picture in better light, Calaveras. You're going to have to work on this for us.
Well, I'll get them for you. That's right. I just have to have a day off where I can actually do it. Yesterday, I had to intentionally tell my boss, sorry, I put in 70 hours this week. I need to take a day off so I can go get my new vehicle that just came in. That's why I was working today.
Drive down to Hollywood and contract one of those real fancy photographers to take some real glamour shots of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? My older, half brother is a professional photographer.
Yeah, but he'll probably do it for free. The people down in California will charge you an outrageous amount of money for it.
Well, I don't know about do it for free, but I'm sure he'd give me a better deal than those Hollywood snobs.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Stuff Hunter. You got to see the picture of the Jeep. We try to cater to our public as much as possible, which isn't always anything, but in this case, we were able to oblige.
Well, we cater to him as long as it's not one of the Travi, right?
It depends on which one of the Travi it is. If it's P11,
As the King Travi is pretty cool.
On the Travi again. Poor guy.
Oh man, that nonsense where he got somebody trolling him because he was reviewing Foos's ammo. Is this wrong?
Oh yeah, that really. It's like,
yeah, that's right. I felt bad for him. I wish I could have done something to help him out, but
P11 reviews everything. I mean, come on. He's reviewed his own subscribers before.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Who was trolling him?
I don't know
I don't know who it was.
but he did a live show and then he did a video of it too. I mean, he was legitimately upset about it.
Yeah, he put some serious effort into his stuff.
You can't let the trolls get to you. We all go through it.
Some trolls are better than others, though.
Well, like Midnight Range TM,
Some trolls are just sad.
Yeah, Midnight's often when he'll troll you, but he'll be funny when he does it.
I've always said that he's the funny troll. He's one of them rib pokers. He's like trying to get her eyes out of you. Just see the response, but he's a good dude. He's a funny guy.
Hey, Rich, Patriot has a question you need to address.
Yeah. Is it a strip lower, or is what a strip lower? The Jeep? No, the Jeep was not a strip lower. It wasn't Porky Piggin.
No, that Jeep is like picking up one of the Smith & Wesson M&Ps. It's a good base that it works, but it's completely upgradable.
And Patriot, you should have a link too if you got time. You can jump in.
Dang it, I forgot to do something. I promised Patriot I would start putting alt text on all my stuff, and I made one today and didn't put alt text on it.
I got to get in the habit of doing that.
I got to go back to his video about how to do alt text so I can figure it out.
The only way I know to do it is go in there after you make the post, go in there and hit edit, and then there's a place you can add alt text, and it just takes a few seconds.
So it
There's
doesn't
a
come up
place you
first
can do it
time.
while you're creating it too, because I've ran across it before.
Well, I can't find it, so
How do you do it when you're creating it?
I don't know. I just know how to do it whenever I go back and add it later.
I only saw it when I went back to edit one. In fact, I'll go back and edit my latest one just to put in the alt text.
I'm gonna go create a new post here just so I can see. Next. Yeah, it's under. Once you've put your picture in, when you get to the place where you put in your caption, if you go all the way down to the bottom of the screen, there's advanced settings. And if you click there, there's a right alt text.
Ah.
Good to know. Thank you, Gary.
You betcha.
Patriot and his sense of humor.
Yeah, that's for he's a Marine, so their sense of humors tend to be, quite entertaining to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before everybody knew he was blind, it's just like, yeah, he's just a guy making the average normal comment. Now everything's a blind joke.
Do we have any other topics, or is this just going to be a free for all at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. Seven Wonders is asking, does alt text make it easier for visually impaired to read?
It puts Braille on the screen, Seven, so they can touch it.
Yeah, it makes your screen all bumpy,
No, it makes it where whenever Patriot, I think whenever he touches the picture or whatever, it'll read to him. And you put your own description of what the picture is. You just describe the picture in that alt text, and nobody else can see it unless they have a way to, I don't know how that works, how he reads it. I guess he has some setting that reads it to him, but he can explain it. But so
yeah, Seven Wonders, that's it's something that you're actually allowed to touch by law.
Yeah, Patriot did a video about it. It's still on his page, I'm sure. Speaking of Seven Wonders, he does have a giveaway going on his channel, which he's using to benefit G-Webs. So while you get the chance later, go over to Seven Wonders channel, watch this giveaway, see what it entails, and proceeds are going to G-Webs.
Did you guys just see Stealth's last comment?
I was ignoring it.
No, that's for speaking of G-Webs. And I picked up Saturday. Saturday morning, I picked up an Every Second Matters shirt and one of the new Poco Ghibli shirts.
I don't know if Patriot's pulling our leg on this, but he says actually there are refreshable Braille displays.
I'm sure there probably are.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I don't think Apple makes one just
joke in a very dry sense of humor. He is one to joke, but there probably is such a thing.
I would have to imagine that somebody's made something over the years that can do that. I mean, how it would work, I don't know, but
yeah. But at the same time, Stealth put up his little comment there. Right above that, Seven Wonders put, "Come on, guys," and I just had a vision in my head of Ralphie's little brother from A Christmas Story. Come on, guys, wait up!
Rolling in the snow.
I can't get up. I can't get up.
My favorite part was
I can't put my arms down. I can't put my arms down.
He was like a turtle on his back. He couldn't get up.
I need to see that movie eventually because it's supposed to be a classic.
You've never seen
There
that
you
movie? What?
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 I mean, like TBS plays it on Christmas Day, 24 hours
And
of.
he does too now. They put it on both channels.
It's
you-
like
Are
I
you like
cannot
a
believe you've
Christmas
never.
guy? Do you like the Christmas thing, like decorating and Merry Christmas and all that kind of junk? Are you into that kind of stuff, Calvin?
Yeah, I like to do I like to do stuff that's festive around that time of year. I mean, I'm not Griswold Christmas about it, but
Yeah, if you're into Christmas, just do yourself a favor and go ahead and watch that movie tonight.
You don't have to be into Christmas even. That's just an excellent movie. And
Indeed.
isn't it Sarge that has the lamp in this background?
It is.
I thought so. On your
That's a
behind
major
you.
reward.
Yeah, it's Italian. It says fragile.
Fragile.
Did you think it was a bowling alley when it showed up?
It's a bowling alley. Oh,
My old man worked in profanity like other artists working. Was it oils or clay?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, when he got in the fight, and he's spewing all, and of course in the movie he's like ripping, rapping, but he's like,
Marcus.
Yeah. And his friends' faces like.
Oh,
and then his brother shows up, and another one's like pointing at her, like, "Oh."
shut up.
Speaking of obscenities,
But he said it's nothing that I hadn't heard from my father or something like that. But
that was the one where he knocks the lug nuts and goes, "Oh,
fudge."
I like it where he says when he's talking about that streak, he said he wove a tapestry of obscenities.
Yes.
Still hovering over Lake Michigan today.
Yes.
Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine.
And let's not forget the legendary battles his father had with the furnace.
Yes.
And the Ficus's dogs.
Bumpus dog. The Bumpus hound.
Bumpus. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Bumpus.
Some bitch Bumpus.
Gets the dog's ear caught in the door. Oh my god.
Rah, 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 rah.
It's smiling at us. Oh,
stop. And poor Cal has absolutely no idea what we're talking about.
I know it's parts of the movie, but that's about all I know.
just watch the movie. Just you can watch it online. Watch the movie. It's great.
I need to.
How about that Santa Claus? Ho, ho, ho! He ran in the kids' faces and scared the shit out of them.
I like it when he's down at the bottom of the slide, just completely dejected, just laying there.
Yeah, and then Randy comes sliding down behind him and kicks him in the back of the head. And he still doesn't move.
That movie was filmed in Cleveland, not far from me, when I was probably, the hell year was that filmed? 84, 83, somewhere in there. Yeah, I was 17, somewhere in there, 18. I don't know. I can remember when it first came out. So, yeah.
I wasn't born until 90s, so.
Now we got the man.
They have these things called DVDs or Netflix. You can watch any movie you want to, anytime.
Yeah, I need to look it up and watch it.
Yeah.
I got bit by the Netflix.
You probably don't get it off Amazon. Not even have to go anywhere. Just have it shipped right to your mailbox.
Is that where you've been all this time, Patriot? We haven't seen you in months.
No. Oh no, I went on hiatus and I had my daughter all weekend, but her sister was sick, and so I had to watch her other. It's been a long week.
How old are your kids?
My daughter's 11, but she's got half sisters that are little, so I spent a whole day with her middle sister. She's cool. She's like 4 or something.
You spent a whole day with your hands full.
Oh yeah. But anyways, with Netflix, anyone that has T-Mobile, you guys use T-Mobile? With T-Mobile, if you got the military one, it's the military sign up or whatever. Anyways, they give you free Netflix. Well, I never screwed with it because most of the stuff on there, I didn't really, it's not accessible or whatever. So their app on the phone, they list. There's probably, I don't know. There's a good portion, not all of them, but a lot. I have the descriptive video, and so I can turn on the narration, and so I've went through and watched a few and filled up my queue. So yeah, that's been interesting.
There's a lot of
But
good
yes,
stuff on Netflix. I mean, there's a lot of garbage, but I mean, there's a lot of good shows on Netflix. They honestly, I mean, you can find a lot of like old shows. You know what I mean? I like Netflix. Of course, I pay for it every month. I don't have the app or nothing, but
and as far as the refreshable braille display, it's actually a hard. It's a plastic device, and it has plastic pins that are round that pop up, and it's got like little motors in there. And so as you scroll, you can, it's got like a little, depends on which one you have, but you can have like 17, 18, characters or whatever, and it'll scroll just like your, kind of like a RS feed, like what, like a ticker tape that would go across the top of your screen or something. On this braille display, you just lay your fingers on there and they pop up and you read them as it goes. So yes, so you could actually control your phone without sight or hearing it with the braille display.
I was going to comment. If you watch the Daredevil, he was supposedly
He's not blind.
He's not, but in the show he was supposedly blind. But I remember watching. No, he's not blind in real life. The Daredevil,
the character,
the character Daredevil,
blind. He's blind.
Oh.
Anyway, all right, smartass. Anyway, I remember watching one of the shows where he's sitting in his computer and he had his hands on a device, and it's pretty much what you were just describing. And he was reading Braille. And I thought to myself, wow, is that a real thing? And you just said, yeah, it is. It's kind of neat.
Magic.
What do you find that reading Braille, you read, I guess, better than you did like when you were just looking at the words and reading them?
No, I was a fast reader with my eyes, but now I do. I'm not very fast with Braille. I'm kind of a little slow, just because I'm spoiled as far as technology. I just speed it up and have it talk to me super fast. And
you're a little slow. That's why you fit into the rest of this group.
He was a Marine. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, Stealth Swine, you're still presenting me, but it's not showing you are.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Just push him down the steps.
I told him kiss my butt because my logo's pretty.
You're not presented.
Well, we'd much rather look at your logo, Snob, than your camera, so we're good to go.
What?
Ah!
You want me to stand up because I'm Porky Picking?
Oh, God.
No,
turn it off. Turn it off.
This isn't match chat, okay?
I was going to say, save that for the closer.
Yeah, we don't have Jedi and Lincoln here, so.
Speaking of the closer, you go check out what Midnight wrote on my Instagram post.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of I'm gonna get out of here and spend the evening with the girlfriend. It was good talking to you guys. Thanks for the invite.
Really, you're leaving us for a woman? Really?
Yes, a very pretty woman. Thank you very much.
Really? I see where we rate. Must be nice to be young and in love. When you get old and married, you just don't care.
Or you just get old and divorced and don't care. Anyway, night, Cal.
Night, guys.
Yeah.
Night, Cal. Good evening.
And Snob, even your wife's out there telling you to turn the camera off, man. That should tell you something.
I know. So yeah, I told you. Once you get old and married, it just goes downhill.
Hey, Yeah, so he must be doing something right. He's got 700 subs.
Who?
What are you doing? Paying everybody now?
Yeah, they have these services where you can buy them.
Yeah, but I'm 10 of them.
Well, I know I'm about 7 of them. So.
Yeah. By the way, your guys' check should be arriving this week.
Yeah, you're a little late.
Since Gary has creative names, I had to change mine from B channel and listing pretty much all Patriots. So now I don't know if you guys noticed what my alter ego is.
Yeah, but what's funny, on one of my videos, his alter ego commented, "I'm with that Patriot guy." It's like he's talking to himself in my comment section.
Oh, that's the best part about it. I have arguments. And then people are like, yeah, I listen to this guy. He's better, because one's just, Matt Murdock and the other one's the real Matt Murdock. But I'm a gun lover. That other guy's kind of a douchebag.
I get a kick out of the multiple Patriot comments. Yeah, guess who might be my favorite?
Boy, you had me going that time that you said, I won all 4 prizes. My daughter's like, "You did? That's great." I'm like, "I don't think so. I think he's messing with me."
It's funny you said that. I've done that before. I got 2 different Google accounts, and I've went into chats as one and the other and talked to myself, and people are like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Someone else in this room does that. That
happens a lot, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Wait a minute. I saw the cat in the one chat. What was that, last night?
What's bad is whenever George Grayson Cat and Clem Hogwell are getting an argument.
Oh,
kind of hairy.
Hairy.
Yeah, last night Gary was the only one watching Snob's Show because everybody in the chat was insulting egos.
I don't know what was up with that. Gunpowder was telling me earlier she got the alert that it was going live at 2 a.m. this morning.
I never got it, so
I still don't know what was up with that.
Was that your chat yesterday? Because I got 2 different ones that came up.
Did they come up at the right time, like when I was going on?
I seen them this morning. Like I said, I've been unplugged for a couple of days. I missed Rick's chat. I missed everything.
Read the chat.
Oh yeah, what, Stealth out there talking smack again?
No, it's midnight this time.
Oh, midnight.
Yeah, if Harmon and Axis could actually himself, the internet would fucking explode from overuse.
He's not wrong.
We love you, AA.
Throw Foose in the mix.
Oh my god. I just read it right before you said it, man, and I was laughing. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh man.
Could you imagine a chat with Armament, Foose, and Squib?
All talking about strip lowers.
Squib had I believe I sent Squib a link. He just never showed up. Oh man. But that was special. 2 nights in a row. We had A&A and Foose in the chats. Poor Gun Snob on his channel, they took over and it was reloading for 3 hours. And the next night on this show, I expressly forbid them talking about reloading. So they start talking social studies.
Oh, get us started, right?
I'm like, Jesus, can't win for losing.
This is how most of Axes and Armaments chats start.
Just keep changing the subject and I won't get lost on some tangent.
I don't think he heard that noise.
I think that comes well before the chat starts.
About 7 a.m.
I got to say, that new mic is working awesome tonight, 8A.
It's not a new mic. It's the same old
Sounds
earbuds.
good. I don't care what you say. It sounds good.
Okay, well, why do I keep hearing the horn sounds? What's that?
What?
Y'all ain't hearing that? Sounds like a horn in the background. Come on.
That was in the back of somebody else's chat.
I
don't know if it's feedback or ain't on this end.
didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
I heard it about 20 or 30 seconds ago, but it went away.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. That's an attention getter.
I fixed my furnace today. For the last, I don't know, 2 years.
Alrighty then.
I
was looking for an air horn. I can't even find like a train or a semi. Here we go.
Okay, now Patriot, continue your story. You were trying to tell us how you fixed your furnace.
Oh, it's just something like there's been a squirrel inside it for the last, I don't know, year or so.
You're
Just
trying
banging.
to incinerate squirrels now?
No, it's just the fan inside there vibrating around and all this stuff. I mean, it sounded like something was in there. And finally today I went down and I opened it up, and there was a dryer sheet inside the fan, the blower, and it was just enough to offset it and to give it like counterweight to one side, and it would rattle. I took the dryer sheet out, and as quiet as it's ever been.
How do you get a dryer sheet in your furnace fan?
Well, it got sucked in through the cold air inlet. That's nuts that a dryer sheet would cause it to get out that much.
Well, it's laying across the fan blade, so it's getting a little less pressure than that side.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, good point. It wasn't the weight; it was the air movement.
But yeah, they get they were on the filter to spread the nice smell through the house. That was an idea somebody had, and so they got sucked through there.
They put it on the wrong side of the filter.
Yeah,
I was probably changing the filters. I changed them all the time.
Yeah.
So one just slid through there, but I just couldn't believe it was a dryer sheet.
On that note, my wife called me one day. She was driving on her way home, and she's like, "My car is making an awful vibration. It's horrible." I was like, "Okay." Like, "Well, see if you can baby it home and get it here." She gets here. I go drive it. Nothing. She comes out there. She's like, "No, it was horrible." It's like, huh? Anyway, she gets in there, turns on her air conditioner, and I mean, it feels like the whole car is about to fly apart. I was like, "Whoa, something's the matter with your blower motor." So I pull it down. When I did, there's a poor tailless mouse stuck in there, and he's like mashed to the side of it where he spun around in there the whole way home.
Oh, no.
It was nasty. I never did find his tail, so.
It's funny you said that because I was going to ask Patriot. He said, I thought there was a squirrel. I was like, did you find a squirrel? No, it was a dryer sheet, but you found an actual rodent in the blower.
I found a faceless pig yesterday. It got eaten up by the neighbor's pit bull. It was horrible.
Like somebody's pet pig?
Somebody's pet pig.
Potbelly pig kind of thing.
It wandered off and was trespassing on the neighbor's property, and it was horrific what happened to it.
So, was this on the job?
Yeah.
So, of course, you took pictures and sent them to everybody of your friends.
No. I did not.
Evidence.
No, there was a report not on it, but it was bad. Bad.
Take a picture and send it to your supervisor.
That's how I got the pictures. It's bad.
But like, how the hell do we classify this?
Do what?
take a picture, send it to him. How do you want me to classify this?
Property damage.
Technically, yeah. I mean, property damage.
The poor little guy didn't make it either. They tried, but he didn't make it.
Well, I don't know if you had, your face eaten off and part of your head and whatever. You might not make it either, right?
No. It was awful. I felt bad for the little fella. But they, like I said, they tried to save it. It just didn't work.
What a way to bring the chat down. Leave it to
Okay.
C4.
Let me ask you this, though. They couldn't save it. Did they go, okay, now we got bacon? I mean,
I'm sure it was a little more, how would you say? I'm sure it was a little nicer than that.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. It's a pig and bacon. Only thing that makes bacon better is more bacon.
Well, they are magical creatures. They turn vegetables into bacon.
And they turn everything into bacon. Pigs will eat anything.
They're magical.
Yeah, if there'd have been another pig there, he would have ate that pig.
You dang right it would have.
Oh, I'll tell you this right now. My boss, well, he kind of runs a hog farm, but I've seen pigs die, and the other pigs eat them. They don't care. They eat them.
There'll be nothing left.
That's sad, though, that somebody's pet went out that way, and, is what it is, I guess, right?
Hey, you should tell Seven Wonders there that if he wants to check out Midnight Range's Father's Day chat, I believe it was Father's Day, was the Guess Who challenge or whatever it was, giveaway. And that's what we did was give some gear websites stuff out.
Yeah, I got one of the prizes from that.
Yep, and look at him now. He's got his own channel, huge.
I had the channel before that.
Yeah, but now people actually look at all the people on your show.
Well, we got invites and we had nothing else to do, maybe.
Wait, whose show is this?
Before I won that prize, I used to get Ghost and Clover on this show.
This is the Gun Snob show, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
It is Saturday, right?
No, it's Sunday. It's Sunday.
I thought it was Gizzards or C4s. I don't know. Somebody sent me a link and I went, okay, my buddies are over here. I'm going to jump in, right?
Heck yeah. We got to find you 8 subs, Rich.
Why?
So you can hit 100.
Oh, I don't even know how many subs I have on this channel. I haven't looked. So I was like,
we gotta find you 8 subs.
Let Gary get on that.
Okay, I don't know if I subbed you from my Alter Ego channel, but I'll make sure and I'll go sub you. So there's another.
What about from your brother's channel?
I have to ask him. He doesn't YouTube much, which is weird. We're YouTubers, but he doesn't do what we do here. Yeah.
You guys are both YouTubers?
Well, yeah, he's my channel partner.
You're talking about Foos?
No, my brother Derek. It's him and I that do our stuff, but he doesn't. He's a freaking computer geek, but he just doesn't get on YouTube a whole lot. It's weird, but we do our stuff channel wise. You know what I mean? I would have to ask him and say, hey, go sub all my subs. Well, don't do that. You're going to be subbing 300, 400 people. Sub these guys, though, right?
I just need a few more subs to get to 1,500.
I just need a few more to get to 1,000.
Like
300 more.
Days if you're still ride that algorithm.
I'm not. I lost more subs yesterday than I gained.
I was just going to mention that YouTube put out something that, we're going to start deleting subs that aren't active or something. I'm like, okay. I watched our subs. We're just a little under 430, and I watched it go 429, 425, an hour later 427, an hour later 426, back up to 4. I'm like, what the heck is going on? You know what I mean? Over a period of a day and a half, I'm like, what? I don't know. Is it YouTube and the algorithm thing? Don't know.
I think it's just you're just being a show off.
What the YouTube is trying to do is prevent basically sub streams, where somebody with a lot of subs will get on and do a stream where all you do is just sub everybody, and though YouTube will, like, if they're monitoring your channel and they notice you doing that, they'll shut your channel down right then and there. They're trying to keep the subs what they call authentic.
Yeah, I understand that. Trying to keep, in other words, I do know a couple people that have probably 5 to 7 or 8 different channels or names or whatever that we were talking about troll accounts, you know what I mean? And I know troll. Some of them have subbed me, so I don't know. I watching it, I'm going, what's going on?
I just got you 2 more, Rich.
Gun streamer doesn't have that problem as far as I know. And gun channels, gun tube aren't like that.
All right. Guys, I got to run. I got to go watch my wife. I got ordered that I have to watch tonight.
Have a nice night, man.
At least for a while.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I need that whip sound, man.
Yeah.
Closer.
Or that bowling ball scratching across the floor on that chain.
Yeah. All right. Night, guys.
Night.
See you away.
Yeah, Stealth Hunter's on his way out. So later, Stealth Hunter. And Seven Wonders out there telling a story about this pig that his buddy has that was eating when people would drop. They were having a pig picking, and they were dropping pieces on the floor, and the pig was running around eating them. And that reminded me of, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Looney Tunes show that used to be on Cartoon Network. There was an episode where, the setup, Speedy Gonzalez in the show owns a pizza place. So they're all in there eating pizza, and Porky comes in and he orders his favorite pizza, pepperoni pizza. So everybody starts trying to explain to him the fact that of what pepperoni is made out of. So and he gets all disgusted, right? And he's like, he pushes that aside and tells Speedy, "I'll have a sausage pizza instead." And Bugs just basically does a face palm and is like, Porky. That show had some funny moments to it.
You see, I haven't watched much of it lately, but the Family Guy, they like to throw in a lot of crazy things like that definitely off the wall, and just one of the reasons I grew to love the show. At first I was like, this is dumb, and then I started watching it and it's like, wow.
Yeah, Family Guy can be special at times.
Well, look, one thing about Seth MacFarlane, he doesn't hold it back against anybody. They make fun of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And no one is safe.
Did you ever see the episode where he was making fun of gun control? And how the media doesn't cover black on black violence? That episode was freaking hilarious, especially at the end. Because the whole setup was Peter was supposed to have accidentally shot Cleveland Jr. And at the end, it comes out that I think it was Cleveland that accidentally did it. And all of a sudden, all the news media just scatters and it's gone.
Yeah. Yep. Well, just look at Chicago and crime there, and highest, murder rate and inner city violence, and very anti-gun, and We don't see a lot of coverage of that, do we? But boy, we sure see it in other places that you want to make it racial. Oh man, when you throw that race card in, you got news.
Hey, I gotta ask you guys a question. You heard about the girl that was kidnapped and she was found?
Yeah.
Did you hear anything on the news about the family pulling their firearms just in case the guy showed up?
No.
Or did they kind of forget to mention that part? Because
I heard nothing about that part. I heard about her and the kidnapping and all. I heard nothing about that part.
Yeah, that the neighbor that brought the girl over or something that said, we don't know if he's following them, kind of thing. I don't know. I got an email that had some stuff in there, and I haven't tracked it down yet. I didn't know if anybody else had heard anything about the family saying, "Hey, yeah, we got the kid. We called 911. We also made sure that in case the guy showed up, because I think the police ended up taking the girl, and they said, stay away from the windows in case the guy shows up because he was caught, in the neighborhood or whatever." From the description of the car that the girl gave, I guess. But
let me ask you this: at that point, if somebody kidnapped your daughter, wouldn't you? And whatever they might have done to, I'm sorry, I would be sitting in my house hoping they came in the front door.
Well, first of all, you obviously don't know the story because the girl's parents were killed. And the guy killed the parents and took the girl. So there is no parents to do that. This was just somebody that was in the neighborhood where she was at or whatever.
I did not
anybody
get the whole story.
That is related. I think they were part of the school or something. I don't know if the lady was a teacher or something, but
now how
I didn't
far
get the
away
whole story.
From the original scene was this girl? I mean, I don't know like where she lived and where the parents were killed. Where was she found? How far away was that?
I heard something like less than an hour away. It wasn't very far.
Yeah.
And the guy that did it supposedly didn't have any connection or something with the family. Supposedly, I don't know, but they I don't know. It was pretty interesting, just the stuff that I got.
Did they catch the kidnapper?
Yeah, they got him that same day.
Good.
But they said something about the guy shaved his head so wouldn't leave trace evidence and all sorts of weird stuff. I don't know.
Well, the nice thing is, though, is would you say a neighbor or whatever found her and put her up at somebody else's teacher? And they said, nope, we're gonna make sure nobody's coming in. And you said they loaded their guns. Is that what you said?
That's what the story I got was that they, and even after the police took the girl into into protective custody or whatever they call it, they said to stay away from the windows and posted the dad at one of their doors or something. But I'm not certain of all the details, but it was. The information was sent to me, so I didn't know if anybody else had heard that because I know that the family, I guess that found or where the girl went to the house, whatever was on Fox or something, but I don't know any of the information on that part of it either. Because I know when they talk about it, obviously they're not going to say much, especially since it was still.
The article that I'm reading here, unfortunately, from the New York Times, is they said that they found her 65 miles away from where she disappeared. And it says a couple who lives in the area, Christine and Peter Kaczynski, told the Minneapolis Star-Tribune that Jamie appeared on their doorstep about 4 p.m. Thursday after she had been found by one of their neighbors who was out walking their dog.
Yeah, let me get this email.
Since there's no motive, no motive has been discovered for the killing. No weapons have been found, but the parents that were killed.
Yeah, David, I'll email you this this article so you can read it.
Okay.
Hey, Rich, I've got to head on out.
All right, Sarge.
I'll see you over on the closer in a little bit.
Yep.
See you later.
Invite, see if we can get Rich to 100 subs. He's only 6 subs short. And then if anybody else wants to go ahead and sub in with, I don't know, maybe he had a second account. I'm only 23 short of 1,500. So I'll see you guys over on the closer, and I'm going to be getting ready for Vegas all week. So I'll see you guys.
Night, Sarge.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you, brother.
Bye.
And the sound of silence. That's a song, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. Simon and Garfunkel, and it was covered by a few different people,
Hello, darkness.
including Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw.
Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw and Damn Yankees did a cover of Hello Darkness.
They did it by themselves. It was the two of them. It wasn't with Nugent.
Some new artists put one out for over the summer.
Oh yeah, that's crap. It what the hell's the name of that band? They are more of a heavier band. I would have to go back and look.
What was the question again?
Hello Darkness, my old friend. Who did it? The Sound of Silence.
Yeah.
Crap, what was the name of that band?
God damn it, I can't. Disturbed.
Yep.
I was trying to think of it too. I was having the same brain fart you were.
You know, it's funny because the only reason I know about that is I had a very much younger than me guy approach me about playing drums in their band, and I'm like, you know, I love to jam and all the moving equipment and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what do you got for songs? And half the songs were from Disturbed, and that was one of them. But really, it's out of my genre. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
But the album that I was talking about, it's Shaw Blades, and the name of the album's Influence. It came out in 2007.
Really?
It's got Summer Breeze on it, Time of the Season, Your Move, I Am a Rock, Lucky Man, The Sound of Silence. Like we're saying, California Dreamin', On a Carousel, and Dirty Work. It's basically a bunch of covers of things that influenced their career.
What's the name of the album? I'm going to check it out.
Influence.
Cool. I'll be darned. Yeah, I would. You know, when I was a kid, I mean, Night Ranger was a big band back in the day, and seen them at the State Fair twice. There's a long story behind that. We are not even going to get into, but all those musicians. Brad Gillis played with Ozzy. When Randy Rhoads died, they basically got a hold of him. This is right before he got into Night Ranger, and they're like, "We need a guitar player." He said, "I had literally 2 weeks to learn all these songs."
Yeah. Oh, Tommy Shaw was with Styx.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just musicians, you know.
Yeah. And then they got together with Nugent and got damn Yankees out of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who all the band members. I know it was Shaw, Blades, Nugent, and I'm trying to think who they had.
Yeah, the drummer was an unknown at the time.
Was he?
Yeah, that was the first thing he had ever done. It was Michael something or other. I can never remember his last name.
Ever done that actually made him more money than playing the bars, right?
Yeah.
I've done enough of that. Cool thing is talking about music, it's funny because when I got back into it, it's actually the son of a high school friend of mine, which was my sister's friend, but he played guitar. And I just got back into jamming. This is about 99, and start jamming with a guy. We wrote a lot of songs. He was all about originals, yada, yada. And for years we wrote, and honestly, we had not got together and actually played anything in a year. And last night I got to jam with him. We sat, had a few drinks, hung out, bullshitted, caught up, jammed some songs, took a break, jammed some more. I had a lot of fun last night, just hanging out with one of my old jamming buddies, creative. Kind of strange, man. I don't know. Be a musician, see how it works. That's just the creativity and the flow, and not Ant Flow though. Ant Flow comes to town and get out of town. That went left and nobody's seen where it went.
Did you see the story Seven Wonders was telling out there? He said one of Night Ranger's buddies and one of Night Ranger's roadies stole his friend's leather jacket after he beat him in pool.
That might be true. I don't know.
I can believe it.
This is a strange thing, man. As a musician, I love to be admired for what I create, or if somebody enjoys what I'm doing, that's great. But something I never wanted, and now I'm a YouTuber and I still don't want fame. I like people to appreciate what I'm doing, but I do not want fame to the point of people running up to me wanting their freaking autographs. And I don't know. Kind of weird. I actually was talking to my old guitar player buddy last night about the whole creativity thing, and that kind of came up, and he felt the same way about it. It's like, you love to be admired for what you do, but man, I'm not a big fan of fame. So I don't know. Kind of strange. But then again, so am I.
So is it true when a band is doing a long set, if the drummer gets into about a 5 or 6 minute drum solo, that's technically so the rest of the band can take a real quick break while he's doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I've never done a 5-minute drum solo, because if I did, I have too. But yeah, my drum solo was, all right, guys, you got 2 minutes to grab a fucking beer and get your ass back here, because I'm going to die after that.
Did you ever watch the Def Leppard episode of Behind the Music? When Rick Allen would go into his drum solo, they had girls under the stage.
Yes. And it's funny. The funny thing is that's after he lost his arm. They were down under there doing that. But I'm going to tell you this: pretty good drummer with one arm and 2 legs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you use the double bass pedal or the hi-hat, and it does transfer. It's really strange. You play enough. Like I said, I'm a drummer, but guitar is my second instrument. Last night I just played drums. But it's really weird that when I remember watching that and thinking, I can see how he's doing that. He lost his arm, but his brain's telling him, well, send the signal somewhere else. Play with your feet. So does a darn good job doing it.
I don't know if Seven Wonders knew this, and he was saying drummer only has one arm because we were talking about Def Leppard, or the fact that he is surprised, questioning the fact that Rick Allen only has one arm, which he had to learn how to drum all over again.
Yep.
Lost his arm when he wrecked his Corvette.
Yep. Yeah, it was in England, wasn't it?
forget where he was.
It was in Europe. I know that. It wasn't in
Europe.
the
I don't remember if it was England or if he was on the mainland Europe.
Well, they're from the UK, and I guess they had just got off the Pyromania tour.
Yep.
And
him and his girlfriend were taking a ride in his Corvette convertible. He wrecked. They sewed his arm back on, got infection. They had to re-amputate it.
Yep.
And he had to relearn how to play the drums with his feet because they came up with it. And he designed all kinds of special electronic drum pedals and stuff so he can hit all the drums with using his feet.
Yep. I remember the lead singer, Joe. Shit, trying to remember his last name.
He was like, "Well, our band." And there
Joe
goes
Elliott. Joe Elliott. He said, look, at that point, they had just come off that tour, and at that point, they didn't give a shit about the band. They cared about Rick, and it was like,
and one of them said something like, "Well, we just lost the band, but we got to make sure Rick's okay."
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get that email, David?
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. The story goes, the neighbor who came to Jamie Kloss' aid, and it says, quote, "We were armed and ready for the suspect to come looking." And then it says, when Jamie showed up at their doorstep, the Kaczynski family sprung into action, taking 2 steps before most anything else. They called 911 and grabbed their firearms in case the kidnapped teen's abductor was in pursuit. Christine Kasky told Fox News that she and her husband immediately recognized the 13-year-old Wisconsin girl whose October kidnapping captivated the nation when, I hate the hyperlinks in these ads, I keep picking. All right. When a neighbor, Janine Nutter, frantically knocked on the door at 4 p.m. on Thursday. When our neighbor Janine came in with Jamie, she said, "Get a gun. We don't know if he's after us." Kaczynski said, "So we were armed and ready in case the person showed up." And then it goes on to say a couple of different things, and that talks about they had somebody standing at the front door with a gun, and then at the top of the steps with a gun in case the kidnapper was following. And it says a little bit deeper in the article that the people called and gave a description of the kidnapper's car, and when they found him, the article says that he was driving around looking for the girl. So he wasn't like, "Oh no, the girl's got away and I got to get out of here." He was driving around trying to snatch her back up.
Well, he's trying to cover his butt. She was abducted in October and just now found.
Yeah, it's 3 months. They say 3 months.
Well, some nasty shit happened in those 3 months.
Well, she's still, I mean, as far as I understand, she's still a minor, so pretty much none of that information is going to come out.
Right. Well, something though, I mean, like you were saying, the neighbors, she took her to the door and they recognized her. And, if that was me, yeah, if that was you, yeah. And I honestly, even if I didn't know him in my house, just my point of view, we do have the castle doctrine here in Ohio, and it used to be that they had to be threatening you, and had a few local cops like 35 years ago say, "Just make sure you drag them in the door." I was like, "Okie dokie," but no, it ain't like that in Ohio now. If
somebody does something like that here, there's a posse being formed. Whether or not it's authorized by law enforcement is of no consequence.
And if I lived down in West Virginia, I'd be right there with you, Rich. Yeah, not quite that way here, but when things do happen, like I said, we live in a small community here, and when things like that happen, man, people start paying attention more.
That kind of stuff happens here all the time. Not necessarily some nationwide kidnapping story, but there's all kinds of brutal, sadistic stuff that goes on, and nobody around here really cares anymore. They coddle the prisoners, coddle the criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, the poor criminals. Why did they do that? Oh my, the poor people. Why did they?
Well, it's like the MS-13 thing in the illegal immigration.
Yeah.
Maryland has been dealing with illegal immigration for 30 years, and we've been dealing with MS-13 for 20. You know, it's just now a national story where it's been a massive problem here for a long time.
It depends on what you've been watching, because they've been reporting about MS-13 on Fox forever. I remember when Geraldo Rivera, Geraldo of all people, when he first started working for Fox, he did a big expose on MS-13.
Well, they did. The Spike Channel did a whole gang series, and they covered MS-13. The Discovery Channel did a whole gang series, and they covered MS-13.
You know, the biggest problem I see is, like you were saying, you know, people, oh, they don't care, they don't care. Well, when it affects them is when they start caring. When it actually affects their life personally, that's when they start caring. That's my whole thought of sheeple. You got to stop being led, and no, you got to think outside the box and really pay attention to what's going on around you, because don't let this, do you want to get to the point where it affects you?
Okay, guys, I'm going to have to jump out for a few minutes.
Well, you going to stay here? Are you just coming back, or what are you doing, brother?
Probably not. I think midnight's going to start up here in a little bit, and I got to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I was getting ready to shut this down soon anyway, Gary. So we'll catch you over there.
All right. Good night, guys.
See you soon, Gary.
Peace, brother.
Yeah. But before we go, we were talking about the Rick Allen thing. And we're talking about how the reactions when the accident, the band's reaction when the accidents happened. You had a similar reaction when Metallica lost Cliff Burton. And I don't know if you heard the story about James Hetfield's reaction to that. The band had to restrain him because he was about to beat the holy shit out of the bus driver.
Well, was he on anything, or was he just wigging out? I don't know.
No, James Hetfield was pissed.
Oh, in the wreck. Yeah. I remember that. And he's like, I don't see any black ice. I walked up and down that highway, and I'm like, I understand that, Mr. Hetfield, but guess what? I drive for a living, and all it takes is a small spot, a small patch for that wheel to go, oh, I slid, and the driver, and that's a bus is a big vehicle, and dude, could he have drove better? Maybe. Black ice is just a thin layer of the asphalt on top is froze over, and it becomes real slick. So yeah, I don't know, but yes, I do remember seeing that yeah, he was ready to kill the freaking driver.
Yes. Kirk Hammett and Lars Ulrich both said they had to physically restrain him. If they wouldn't have, who knows what would have happened.
Well, was that before or after he caught on fire?
That was before. The fire thing happened at the One Guns N' Roses Metallica tour in Montreal.
Yeah. When he was just a little too close and somebody set off a flash pot when they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Axl Rose refused to go on and caused a major riot in Montreal.
Yeah. Crazy. You see Axl singing for AC/DC now, and I hear he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, actually. I've seen some of the clips on YouTube of it.
My buddy, one of my jam buddies, he got to see him twice. One with Brian Johnson, and then the last time with Axl, and he said that Axl did pretty good. But I did read a thing where Angus Young, he's getting so old. He said that it's great because Axl can sing Bon Scott and Brian Johnson. He said we're jamming tunes that we haven't jammed in years because Brian Johnson could not do Bon Scott.
Yeah. So, Sarge, we were talking about the accident where Cliff Burton was killed, and James Hetfield wanted to kill the bus driver. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, I see him over in the side chat. I had to bounce over there.
Yeah.
But, hey, we're talking about things that happen and all that. I mean, Rick Allen losing his arm and all that. It's just like Rush when the drummer who, writes the lyrics and, creates a lot of the direction. First, it's either his wife died and then his daughter died or vice versa. And when that happened, he just went on this big hiatus and just rode his motorcycle from, like way up in Canada all the way to freaking South Mexico. And at that point, the other two guys in the band said, well, if we do anything again, we do it again. If not, that's it, because he is the band. We are the band. It's us three. There's not replacing him. You know what I mean? It's just, and he
All
came
right. All right, guys. I'll see you over on the closer.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
So
See you guys.
we're gonna wrap this up for tonight, everybody. And thanks for coming, and we'll see you in a few over on Midnight Ranges channel.
Let's go troll him, right?
I'm on the panel.
Send me a link. I'll troll him in the panel.
All
All righty, night, Rich. Peace,
Yep.
man.
Later, fellas.